Hi there everyone, and welcome back to Hollow Knight with me, Kid K. Mirai. This time's opening title screen is called Steel Soul, and I got its pretty glittering self by completing a Steel Soul run, which is a run of the game where you complete it without dying a single time. I'm pretty proud of having gotten that achievement. It was pretty difficult to do, and actually I managed to get the slightly harder achievement of not only completing the game, but completing it with over 100%, completion percentage as well. So, just toot my own horn at the beginning of this particular video. But, yeah, so you can enjoy the pretty steel color of it. So, this time we're going to be seeing a lot of things that are like a silvery white or pale color. So let's hit it and get started. We're starting off back at Resting Grounds where we left off the last time, but immediately we're going to head to somewhere that the seer told us that we would have access to back when we got a certain amount of essence and powered up the dream nail. She said that, now even, the most protected dreams couldn't hide from us. And I said, well, we could do that, but I have other things to do. But now, we don't have other things to do anymore. So here we are at the ruined former site of the palace. If you remember, there used to be a dream seal around this knight-looking person. Well, now we can get in it. No more seal, huh? And now we'll get to see what the palace grounds looked like when it wasn't ruined. You can see it looming up in the background. And now this knight is up and about. And does double damage. But wasn't too hard to defeat. And you saw that, right? We broke off its armor, and it looked like a creature that was made of the same stuff that the knight's made out of. So we have that going for us, going right into this. And now we can enter, having defeated that guard. Well, gang, we've made it into the White Palace. Before we go any further, let's check out what that creature was called. A king's mold, guard construct of Hallownest's palace and skilled wielder of the curved claw blade. Its heavy white armor protects a fragile body. That's true. And what are these? Assuming they're enemies, let's go ahead and hit them. But you can't defeat them. However, hitting them, striking them gets you the Hunter's Journal entry there. A wing mold, a fly-like construct formed of white shell and a dark liquid interior. So, somebody made these. They're sort of making little robotic noises, and they're also full of the, void stuff. Come to our very first bench, and you'll notice right away that this is called a palace, but, it's basically like a bunch of ledge jumping, platforming challenges. So, not really a homey place, but on the other hand, it's kind of like, the dream of what this palace was. We don't really know for sure whether this is what it actually was like somehow when, it was standing and whole, or whether this is just... Okay, we can't get in there. Or whether this is just, a dream version of it that's a lot more formidable to get around. But you can see all over the place, the four-pronged crown of the Pale King. And just these, beautiful white, flowers and vines and all sorts of things. You got those flying creatures. So, alright. So far, pretty peaceful in here, huh? Just very, lovely Lumafly lanterns. We already... Oh, I just, zoomed right into that. But again, you see sort of like a void construct there. Well, that, pretty immediately got me, the Hunter's Journal entry for that. So, they say the old king died long ago, but his influence echoes around us still. A creature like that, what did he desire? And they were called, those creatures are called king molds. So, does that just go along with they were molded by the king, or are they sort of in his image in a way? I mean, they do have... Also, you have to worry in this place, is it going to just, if you rocket off into nothing, you're just going to end? Or are they, somewhat made in his image? They have those large crowns. Okay. So, what you do in this palace is a whole lot of lighting lanterns, which, reminiscent of lighting the lighthouse lantern down in the abyss. That's not a mistake. That's not a small coincidence. So since we couldn't get in that one thing over here, perhaps lighting that lantern will help us get inside there. Oh, that's interesting. There was a statue up there. I don't... Hold on a second. I just got a little turned around with where that could have been. Yeah, here it is. Okay, cool. Cool beans. Alright. Cool rocket-powered elevators that lead us to death. Luckily, it came back. Okay, let's be a little more careful about things. Lots of just covered over furniture in here. Seems not very lived in, However, there are voices here. Hallownest seals in the background. Who are you? Oh. God damn it, I hit the wrong button. I did not mean to kill those guys. But anyway, Royal Retainer, the most loyal and devout servants of the king. I wonder if I have to kill them to get the journal entries? I don't really... They were just sort of hanging out and they freaked out and bowed to me. Hold on. My king, all for us. They give me soul for doing it. King, your troubles, let us. Now, these are the same kind of creatures as those guys that are I guess I do have to kill them to get the Hunter's Journal entries. But, I was hoping maybe just doing the dream now would do it. But, they, are like those creatures that we found dead just outside, the palace grounds and in the ancient basin around the fountain, who were thinking things like, my king, help us. But, okay, I don't want to kill these guys, but I have to be callous and do it because I want the journal entries. Okay, just two more. Oh, here's two more. I feel bad about this. But they bow to me. They bow to the knight because, well, the knight has the king's brand. And we're in here, so... Yeah, okay. Simple, weak creatures find strength by forming a hive and obeying a ruler. Such creatures become the arms and teeth and claws of their monarch. Claws, huh? Maybe they're not so, not so harmless. Okay, well, I won't be killing any more of them. No worries, guys. I'm not going to kill any more innocent retainers. But before I go in there, I'm pretty... Okay, they come back.
Ooh.
Thank God. All right, they come back. I think there's a bench down there. Yeah, I need a bench. All right. And the reason why I need a bench is because while you're in the White Palace, you're pretty much... There isn't a map because you're inside a building. So, it doesn't really pay to do that. Nothing gives you money. No real point in having the thorns on. Having this is helpful. And let's see. I think I don't need that. I'm gonna leave these on just in case I encounter any more king molds. But this is the place where, all the way back when I got this charm, the Hive Blood, that heals the bearer's wounds over time, allowing them to regain health without focusing soul. I said there was going to be a time, at least I think I said, there was going to be a time when this charm was going to come in extremely handy. This is the time. Because, spoilers, the rest of this palace is not so easy to get around in as it has been so far. So far, my only injuries have been due to my own stupidity. From here on out, getting injured is pretty much par for the course. So, let's get started. Because you will not believe the sort of things that the Pale King would decorate a dream version of his palace in. So far, we've just had, some ghostly draperies, some lanterns to light, that sort of thing. Oh, wait till you see, you guys. The Pale King is in need of an HGTV makeover because this is what he chooses to do. Buzzsaws. Buzzsaws everywhere. Buzzsaws that will be killing me multiple times. Well, not killing me, but... Alright, that's cool. Injuring me. But you can see how the Hive Blood works. My health will come back. I just have to pause, to reflect upon my mistakes. Okay, so let's stand real close. Alright, so this is basically what the White Palace is going to be about, you guys. Basically a giant obstacle course full of buzzsaws that I'm going to just have to deal with. So, while we deal with this, bullshit, I'm going to try to make it a little bit more entertaining, maybe, since I'm going to be hurting myself and losing my progress a lot, like that. But, what I was going to do is, let's talk about some stuff. Some stuff that we've been, encountering and learning about in the past couple videos, especially the last one. The end of the last video, we saw that, we learned from the seer that the Pale King basically took Hallownest from another creature, the god of the moths. So, basically, he showed up as the worm. Okay. And, took the followers of the moth god. So, I wanted to remind you guys of Markov, the moth who took up a blade and, went out to Kingdom's Edge to uncover a secret long forgotten. You find him dead. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. You find him dead in an area locked behind one of those black void gates. And I need to shut up right now because if I can't even get through this, I'm going to be very, very upset. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you find him behind one of those black void gates, just basically dead and forgotten. Right near where, you may recall, we found the corpse of the worm that eventually became the Pale King. So, you can, infer from that the truth long forgotten that Markoth was out there looking for was the Pale King's origin. You wonder, okay, I didn't have to do that, but you might wonder, why would the Pale King not want that to be found out? Okay, I think, I don't think there's anything up there. Okay, why would the Pale King want anybody to know that? And, it could just be a vanity thing, not necessarily wanting anyone to know that he came from a creature and, a pre-existing creature that is dead and transformed. But some people know about it. The White Lady knows, that he's the worm. And Grimm knew. Remember, when we very first met Grimm, we, one of the first things that he said to us was that this kingdom was fallowed by worm and root. And we already know that White Lady is the root. I almost survived that. Okay, it's fine. But, so White Lady is the root. So Grimm knows that the Pale King is the worm. So, I guess not very many people know about that, and it was a truth that Markoth, died trying to discover. And you gotta wonder why. Is it, embarrassing to the Pale King in some way? Does he just not want people to know of his origins so that he can seem more, spooky and powerful? We just don't know about that. But also, notice White Palace not only full of buzzsaws and constructs and things like that give you the impression of the Pale King that he's a bit of a tinkerer. We've got all these thorns, very reminiscent of Greenpath's thorns, and, Queen's Garden's thorns. So, good job, May. You're so smart and good. But, so, we have a little bit of White Lady, in the construction of this horrible maze. So, we know of the Pale King, again, a bit of a tinkerer, sort of a builder of sorts, based on, this horrible place. But, we also know that perhaps he's a little bit embarrassed about where he came from, or otherwise doesn't want anyone to know about that. Even if it's not an embarrassment, just, it's a secret. So, the next thing I wanted to say was the fact that, and this was the one that I said, maybe we'll talk about it in a future video, this one, that, in my one little comment on the last one. So, what did the Pale King do to entice, followers away from the Moth's light god? Was it just that he was very bright also, and, could, outshine that particular leader or god? Or was there something else going on? The Pale King claims in all of his propaganda, I need to get over to that small little thing. Claims in all of his propaganda to have granted minds to the people of Hallownest. It's been in the propaganda we've heard since the very, very first opening cutscene of this game with Monoman's poem, "A world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed." Under palest watch you taught, we changed, base instincts were redeemed. So, the Pale King's all about talking about how everyone is better in this kingdom because he granted them some form of mind that they didn't have before. However, we also know that some of the propaganda is huge lies, because there are places where people have minds outside of Hallownest, contrary to what the propaganda tells you. So, is that how he enticed followers away from the moth god? He supposedly granted minds, and then, you know, does that mean that the moths were basically mindlessly following their god? And now, you know, as soon as they were given the opportunity to choose someone else, you know, like they gained a consciousness, like he sort of uplifted them, they chose to follow someone else, the person that granted that ability. Or there's also the possibility that when quote-unquote granting everyone minds, the Pale King also instilled everyone with worshipful feelings for him. So in that, if you take that point of view, you know, the king's actions in granting minds was not, you know, completely altruistic. It wasn't just a pure, here are all these mindless creatures just sort of, you know, aimlessly following this, you know, particular light-based god. Here, I will grant them free will, you know, kind of thing. I wanted to point out real quick that these statues give you well, it's not infinite, but there's a lot of it. A lot of soul. I didn't really need it, but they're shaped like the Pale King, but the crown is kind of, you know, more sort of wavy, almost like, you know, the head shape of White Lady. So I almost want to see these particular statues as like an amalgamation of the two of them. It's got like White Lady's, you know, curved shapes plus the Pale King's you know, in general crown shape. Okay, so yeah, so how convenient is it that the second the Pale King grants someone a mind, they decide to use that mind to follow him, forsaking their previous ruler and god, and, you know, going along with him. Oh, that's gonna be hard. And, you know, going along with him. How convenient. So, you know, again, is that how he took the... Okay, I see what I have to do. Is that how he took the kingdom of Hallownest away? Granted people minds, but then had control over the minds that he granted? Something to think about. Because there's a lot of things to think about going on this game. I need to shut up so that I can try to do this. Oh, god damn it. Distracted by a text message noise. Thanks a lot, Mom. You'll notice that if you do stop to heal yourself with soul, then it will stop doing its high bloody thing. Ah, yes, good. Thank you. That text wasn't from my mom. It was from my BFF, Joe. Thanks a lot, Joe. I'm kidding. I just fall down amidst these people. However, shout out to my BFF. Okay, so we hit another switch. Wonder what that did. Now let's just drop down. What that did was it opened this up, and now we can hit another lantern. So that was our first installment of the Pale King's Buzzsaw Fuckhouse, as I like to call it. The very first time I was playing this game, I was struggling my way through that, and Bast came home and was like, hi, how you doing? Because I didn't, you know, come to the door to greet her because I was busy. And I'm like, well, I'm in the Pale King's Fuckhouse, so how do you think I'm doing? Okay. Grab some more soul, because it really can't hurt to. And also these guys give you soul for it. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the idea of whether the Pale King, you know, just sort of, you know, selflessly uplifted his people and gained followers that way, or if that's like a way out, or if he literally stole them off someone else. Yeah, this is now newly open. So here's Pale King's Fuckhouse Part 2. So, or if he stole them off the moth deity. So basically, if you follow that, it's like, did they just repay him for his, kindness with their worship, or was it instilled in them? But we do have some, outliers who didn't quite, obey as they should. One of the in fact, the very first dream boss battle that we did was Jero, a traitor who turned his nails on the king. So we do have, at least one person who didn't think the king was, okay, I don't know how to do this, hold on, who didn't think that the king was all he was cracked up to be. We also have the, okay, that only gave me back one. Yeah, it only gives you back, like, the most recent one that you lost. We also have the Soul Master, who, when we beat him as Soul Tyrant, had to say that... Oh, I wonder if there's anything down there. There's not. Had to say that, the king disagreed with his methods, denied him his immortality. So we have another person who disagreed with the king in some way and sort of went against him by continuing on with the soul experiments. However, we also know that Soul Master / Soul Tyrant received the idea of doing those soul-based experiments to combat the infection in a dream. Remember, he said, in my dreams, I could see it. The way to combat the infection. Oh, I could have just dropped down there. Gosh darn it. I could see it, the way to stop the infection. It was in the soul that we have in our bodies. So, he could have possibly been in the process of becoming infected, since, infection, dream-based, all that. So, he could have been losing his reverence for the king and thinking of the king as more of a hindrance to what he knew in his heart, was the way to defeat the infection, because he was infected, and the infection and the dreams that he was receiving with these, pieces of wisdom were, in fact, deceiving him. That was pretty good. And then I walked straight into the wall. That's what I get for ever thinking that, that I could do something right. So we had, the Soul Master having a slightly less reverent attitude toward the king also. And then the last person that I wanted to point out as defying the king was someone that you might not remember as well as, the other two, which was the lighthouse keeper down in the abyss, who defied the king by saying, my king, I don't want to turn the lantern on. The sea beckons. And, or was it that he didn't want to turn it off? So he was thinking of more of the void than of what the king might want, which was, for him to carry out a duty as the lighthouse keeper. So, in that instance, what could have been, getting in, I shouldn't say his, we don't really know the lighthouse keeper's gender, what could have been, enticing that person into not doing what the king wanted. Ah, almost. Hold on. There we go. Get a nice, in here. Sometimes there are secrets to be found in this place, and I'm hoping that I'm going to find them, but, I remember one of them being next to one of these statues, but it wasn't that one. Okay, no, that's fine. But, because that almost looks a little bit cracked. But I guess not. Okay. But anyway, so there's been a few people out there in Hallownest who haven't been as reverent of the king as everyone else is. You always have to be careful in this place when rocketing around in it, because you might just rocket yourself straight into yet another buzzsaw. Alright. So. Hold on, because I gotta, like, time this correctly. I think I can, yeah, I think I can get it on this, and then I just have to, look at it and see how they do. Okay. Let's see. Alright, that wasn't so bad. This is a part that I really, really hate, you guys. So, maybe we'll be doing a cut here just to be through it, but we'll see. Because that happens, like, a lot. So, yeah, I might, okay, I'll see you on the other side, guys. Alright, made it through. Made it through, and now let's see how I can screw this up. No. Shit. God fucking damn it. Come on. Come on, me. You can do better than this. Alright, tried it a different way, and that was the way to do it. Okay. Okay. Just making sure, like, what could be over there. Well, here's the next lantern. But before I go through that way, hold on just a second, because I'm going to see if there is anything over there. Okay, well, after that harrowing experience, we were able to light another lantern. So, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, the fact that, if you remember, one of the first things that the seer ever said to us was that she was doing penitence for old crimes. As it turned out, as you know, we heard with her very last words to us, that, you know, the crime that she's doing penance for is the fact that, and we also got access to that elevator, which we will be taking up in just a moment after I save, but, that the crime that she's doing penance for is forgetting about the moth god. And she believes that her entire tribe betrayed this god, and that as a result of that, they don't even deserve to be, remembered at all. And she had said that, not being remembered is the only death that matters, or so they say, she said. So, just the idea that by having forgotten their god, there is a secret in here, and I'm not actually going to do anything with it, but I'm going to show you what it is. But, that by forgetting their god, they may as well just not even be remembered and just die out completely in everyone's memory. Now, we have this seal that's the same as the seal that we saw in, or very similar to the seal that we saw back in Deep Nest in the Weaver's Den, where Hornet was born. But this one definitely has, a different head shape than Hornet's. And this thing here says, "To witness secrets sealed, one must endure the harshest punishment." I came in here despite the fact that I am not doing this part of the game. This area is called the Path of Pain. And as you can imagine, the Path of Pain is painful. What happens is, it's like an even worse part of the Pale King's fuckhouse. And we are not doing it because you only get a small cutscene at the end of the Path of Pain. It's basically like all of this nonsense, but amped up to 11, where there's barely any floor and everything is terrible. I'm not doing it because I've never done it before, and so I'm definitely not going to be doing it for an audience. However, in the description of this video, please, hit more so that you can see the full description. I am going to link to someone else's video of them doing the Path of Pain, so that you can see it. However, I'm not going to be commenting on the small little bit of lore cutscene that you get at the end of that, because I want this to be spoiler free, and I won't know if you guys did actually, stop this video to go and watch that other one, or if you're going to watch it at all. You do get a small little cutscene. It's not terribly important to understanding overall the themes of the game. It's sort of more just, if you get good and can do video game, you get this extra little thing. So, anyway. So, have to now avoid enemies as I get through here, which I was unable to do. But, yeah. So, in addition to... Oh, and now you positioned yourself differently, huh? Huh. Okay. Well, hold on a second. Whoops. Let's not die, okay? Let's have a great and fun time not dying. Interesting that these things give you soul. Oh, got the journal entry for them. May as well look. The bugs of Hallownest believe that their king created this world and everything in it. For what purpose, I wonder? Were his subjects companions, or toys, or children? Such a mind seems unknowable. Well, and that suggests that, like, the king made these particular things, which is sort of what we could... that's the problem, is that I'm getting injured twice. Or 4 times right in a row. Nice work. I'll see you at the top of this, guys. There's no reason for you to watch me trying this again and again. Okay, there we go. Is that a bench? Holy crap. A bench. Amazing. Okay, finally got to the top of that. So, talked about the seer's, crimes that she's doing penance for is forgetting. So if that's such a crime, then, the fact that she would like the moths to suffer the same fate and be forgotten, interesting. The next thing was the fact that the seer encourages the knight to fill up the dream nail with the essence of people who are trying to be remembered. Now I'm wondering what I'm supposed to do here. Okay, I think I know. So people who are longing to be remembered. She, says, you know, at one of the points where we filled up the dream nail a little bit more, that, you know, she can see, you know, so many, or see or feel, I forget what she said, like so many people now represented by the dream nail, you know, so many, asking to be remembered. I wrote down the quote. And the essence that we were collecting along the way was, okay, I see what I have to do, was, you know, not that, was the essence associated with the various dream bosses, dream warriors. So all of those people, like she said, asking to be remembered. Everyone from, you know, Jero hoping that his, you know, rebellion and sacrifice would be remembered, to Gorb, who was known as, you know, the Great Mind. You have No Eyes, who may have been protecting... Okay, this is not going to work out. I've got to shut up again. That, was protecting children, and then may have killed them. But she would want, you know, maybe those children to be remembered at the very least. Okay, now hold on, I gotta, like, concentrate. There we go. Okay. Tried to follow a tutorial, but that didn't tell me how to do it right either. Okay, this could be hard though. Did it. Saw that, right guys? I know you saw that. Okay. Let's Ha 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 ha. Yes. Okay, can't get up there. Gonna have to go down ways. Not like that. So what I was starting to say was that, like, everybody wants to be remembered in this game. Ha. Haha. So, everybody wants to be remembered in this game. Every one of the various dream warriors, every one of the various, you know, dream bosses that we fought, you know, the Soul Tyrant wanted to be remembered and, you know, have immortality. He wanted literal immortality, but, you know, would settle probably for being remembered. But, the White Defender is all about, you know, remembering his, you know, friends and the kingdom itself. The failed champion / false knight, you know, wanted to help people and thus was hoping to be, you know, remembered as a hero to his, you know, to the, to his brother Maggots, you know. And then, you know, you have the very, you know, sad thought of the lost kin wanting to be remembered. You know, your failed vessel sibling, you know, also possibly hoping to be remembered, you know, in some way. So, you know, the seer being right about that. This game is basically all about remembrance versus forgetting. You have the Hollow Knight sealed away and all but forgotten apart from that one, you know, fountain, according to, Jesus Christ, according to, Lem, who's never heard of the Hollow Knight and notes that there's, you know, no other monuments to them besides that fountain. And he's, you know, puzzled by that. because if there was such a great sacrifice and such a great person, wouldn't there be more of a monument? But, you have now, we know, the moth god not being fucking hell, not being remembered. And then I have to do all this shit again, like, god damn it. Like, I'm on a fucking place where you can stop for a rest. Do I have to do all of this again? Apparently so. How do I do this? Let's think about it. So the whole point of the game is that there was a betrayal by forgetting, and everybody went along with the Pale King until everyone did remember, and it was awful because that's what the infection was. You know? All of Hallownest began to dream of that light. Okay. Fuck. Okay, so that's just another way down. Can't get up all the way that way, so we're gonna have to go across here. See, the Pale King's fuck house is no fun. I'm gonna cry and whine a whole lot because I'm not good at video games. So the fact that the seer, you know, encourages you to fill up the dream nail with the essence of people who want to be remembered, you know, that's very significant. And, you know, you almost sort of have to wonder, like, what is in it for the seer, for you to become the wielder that her tribe had foretold? You are now able to, you know, get into these dreams. Because of the dream nail, you were able to destroy the seal that's on the infection. Just leave it at that. Well, maybe not just leave it at that. But, like, what is the seer's game? Okay, this is not... That's not anything! Where am I supposed to go now? Oh, I think I know what I'm supposed to do. I think I know what I'm supposed to do, and I don't like it. Because I don't think I have room or time to do it. There we go. Haha, I didn't like that. Look how pretty it all is up here. We're getting up high. So, not leave it at that. You know, what is the seer's game here? So, to keep taking a drink of water. This place is not, like, you know, as quite heart-pounding as, you know, Nightmare King Grimm was, but you know, it's still pretty fucking frustrating. Haha! That was pretty bad, but not as bad as it could have been. So, speaking of Grimm, you know, okay, we can learn from, you know, Grimm's story that a living being can be a vessel for a dream-type being, with Troopmaster Grimm having the Nightmare King and the Nightmare Heart inside of him from the beginning. So, keeping that in mind, we have the fact that... Okay, I'm just, like, scouting out where I'm even supposed to be going. Okay. We have the fact that the Hollow Knight was supposed to act as a vessel for the infection. And now we're getting the idea that the infection is brought on by people remembering the Moth God's light. You know, does that mean that the Moth God didn't die? And, you know, the seer didn't say that the Pale King killed, you know, killed the Moth God, but just that he stole their followers, you know, and that Hallownest was born from that betrayal. So, hold on, I've got to... But let me finish that thought. So, you know, the thing of a creature can be a vessel for another creature. Alright, now I'll be quiet. And immediately kill myself. Okay. Oh, I don't think I'm going to like this at all. No, I don't like that. Aha! Yeah, baby. Oh! Oh god, I deserved that. I got too cocky. Okay. Into the next room, everybody. Another horrible place. But there is dudes over there. And I think this here is the, I tried it. So, I'm sort of trying to leave you guys with some thoughts about what the infection could be and, you know, what's going on with that. With all of my rambling and talking and the notes that I left myself that I wanted to speak about. So, I hope that's been, like, a little bit interesting to think about and talk about. So, these are the kinds of things that, you know, I was thinking about during my very first playthrough, and that's why I wanted to share them with you, because I can't replay this game for the first time ever again, but I can certainly share with you what was in my mind when I was playing it for the first time. Because I'm doing things in sort of the same order that I did them before. So, after seeing everything that I've seen and hearing everything that I've heard with Seer, I was starting to, like, you know, really, really not think very well of the Pale King. Because, like, apparently, you know, he stole his kingdom, like... Okay, I need to be just a little bit higher than that. Stole his kingdom from another deity who might have been minding their own business. How can that be, though? There's got to be a spot there. Might have been just minding their own business. Okay, of course. Very good. Very good. And then the Pale King comes along and just screws everything up with his, you know, his different light. And the moths were apparently, like, you know, a pretty peace-loving people, to the point where it was odd for one to take up arms. You know, so why did the Pale King have to go and fuck around with this and find out? Okay. Ha. Ha. Okay. So why would he go and mess with these perfectly fine people and steal followers from their god? Not a very nice guy. Plus the whole way of his means for defeating the infection. And now, as we found out, he kind of caused the infection by having this god battle. You know, if it is... See, this is what I was thinking. That, okay, it must be this moth god is sort of sending the infection as some kind of revenge. So, we basically just got a bunch of regular people being affected by the gods doing shit. Which is pretty par for the course for gods, I mean, when you think about it. I'm just rambling, I hope I'm not being annoying. But, oh, god damn it. So, Pale King, why'd you go and do that shit? And then he goes and tries to solve it by... We now know for sure that, you know, White Lady's our mom. the mother to all these vessels. Kind of implies the Pale King's the father because of what Hornet said about us sharing a similar source of our power. So... okay, hold on. So how could a parent, not only do this to their kingdom by setting it up in a situation where it's going to end up failing because it's a stolen kingdom, but how could a king, how could a parent do this to their child? If the Pale King is the parent to, for example, the Hollow Knight, that sort of really sheds a terrible light on him as a parent, because he basically just allowed this child to become a vessel for a horrible infection and be forgotten. Oh! This is another part that sucks, but hold on. I think I know a secret. That wasn't it. Okay. Okay, hold on. I think I know a secret. I do. I can go underneath this horrible part. Very smart. So, Pale King sucks king. He's the worst. Or was he just trying to do his best with what he had? Did the Pale King know he was stealing subjects from someone else? Or did he just come into this place as the worm? Better everybody's lives by supposedly giving them minds, but possibly also instilling them with worship for him. Did the Pale King know what he was doing? I think yes. I'm not willing to absolve him of guilt. But, you can read it the other way. No! Did you see that where it looked like I was walking on top of that? A glitch. It is really just always shenanigans on Hollow Knight with me, isn't it? And that time it looked like I fell through a bunch of them successfully. Okay. Yes, good.
Yeah.
Hurrah! Oh. They're spooked of me. Okay. Yeah, and I guess there wasn't another lantern to light, there was just that switch.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna real quick. We will wait, King. That was a different one. Okay. So that were pretty much all the things that I wanted to ramble about with you guys. I'm sorry that I've been a bit disjointed and stressed sounding as I've done this, because it is very stressful. And we're not done yet. But the question also remains, why is this place the way that it is? Why all these buzzsaws? Why is everything so horrible? Why did we have in the midst of that the thing that I'm not doing, the Path of Pain, where there was apparently secrets sealed? What is up with that? Why is everything so terrible here? Oh! Ha! That was funny. Okay, well, I guess it counted me as having gotten up here? Weird, okay. I'll take it. I guess my feet sort of touched it and then I careened off of it again. So why is everything so terrible here? Pale King, why? Almost. That wasn't even almost. I think this is another place where I'll say I'll see you at the top. Aha! Here I go. Okay. Alright, now there is actually a thing I think? No. Is it in this room? Hold on just a second, I need to check something. There is a secret thing down here. Okay, I have to fall in exactly the right way. There we go. Okay. I've actually never been in here. I didn't know this was here, but I knew that there was a secret room, so I was looking up how to get to it. But very spooky place. It's like a bunch of, fallen, statues. You listen, the whispers sound like, one of those, one of the lore tablets, the higher beings, these words are for you alone tablets. And if you weren't sure from the very beginning, those whispers are actually the king speaking to you. You could sort of guess that from the one that was out in front of the entrance to the abyss, our refuse and regret. Who else would be saying that but the Pale King? But this place looks like it's his workshop. So let's see what this tablet says. Void, yours is the power opposed, but yours is potential, eternity potential, force that could deny time. Void, harness shall be placed upon you. So, void being the stuff that's in the abyss, this confirms that that is what it's called, because we've sort of known that, the vessels, meaning the knight and his, sibling kin, they're made up of that stuff that's in the abyss. And now we can see for sure and all that the king was tinkering around with that, because these are all bits of the king molds and the wing molds that now we know he was definitely putting void into. It certainly looks that way because when you strike those things, void little bubbles come out. But remember what we were talking about when we fought the Collector? Another creature that when you strike them doesn't give you soul, which I'm guessing that you get soul from the king molds and wing molds because of their shells. It's the king's way of, combining soul and void. But the Collector giving off, those voidy, black bubbles, was the Collector made of void? And over here, we see what looks like the mold for the king molds. And that looks like the kind of creature that comes out of the, the shell that he puts them in. But what else does this shape look like? The four-armed Collector. So that gives rise to the possibility that, the Collector was maybe a failed king mold. That the king, put some void into this mold to create that, but didn't get, the armor on it, in time, or maybe it was armored but escaped from that armor. Perhaps the king mold was put in, the Tower of Love with all of that nice stuff to do a job, and either failed at it or bust out of its armor and went crazy. But the shape of this mold, again, gives you some confirmation that the Collector was maybe made or shaped by the king, or was another creature that came from the abyss. So it looks like the king was working on putting void into molds for various reasons, perhaps as practice for creating the vessels like the Knight and Lost Kin and the Green Path vessel, and the Hollow Knight. So yeah, let's see what happens when we go out here. I don't really know where it's going to lead to. Okay. Alright, and this is a place where, it would have been too high for me to get up into, so, you know, that's why you have to go through the secret area. So, hopefully, I'm not someplace really far away from where I need to be. So, hold on just a second, because I'm gonna check on that, like, am I gonna end up dropped down all the way to the bottom of the hard part of the game? So, just give me 1 second, guys. Maybe okay to, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to like get back up to where I was. So let's go through this way and we'll just find out together what happens if you go through this. And hopefully if I have to go through a bunch of that again, I will make a cut and you won't have to look at it. However, serve. All that the mold is thinking about is that, like, he imbues it gives you the suggestion, he imbues all of these things with a servile attitude by putting this kind of, you know, magical, you know, soul stuff onto it. So that's why all the molds and stuff, you know, serve him. But again, also suggests that, you know, he's not... Oh, cool! This doesn't make any sense whatsoever, the way that is shaped and where you come out. But I don't care, because I don't have to do any of that badness ever again. Okay. Cool beans. That's good news. But, like, that he has the ability to instill servitude into people, which makes you wonder, was he doing that all along? I hope this was right. Well, here's a dead one. More dead ones. Ah. I have a statue here, and I do know that there is another secret room here. This one I did remember. This one I have been to. Now, when I go in here, I want you to be thinking of... whoop, wrong button. I remember saying at some point, like, when we came back for our shade once, like, to pay attention to the tune that it plays. You can't hear it, you know, as I look at this, but you know how it sort of plays that little, like, jingly lullaby sounding song? Think about that as I go into this next room. As you can hear, the music that plays in this room and this room only is sort of a more, it's in a different key, but it's the same tune that plays as when you come closer to your shade and your shade lets you know, hey, here I am, and you know you're going in the right direction. And what we have here is a chair that looks like it has, you know, some wearing away or embossing that looks like the head shape of the White Lady with all of her, you know, branches on her head. So, and then this almost looks like a crib, like a creche. Did they have a child? Who could that have been? I mean, you don't hear anything of, you know, the Pale King and the White Lady having any children of their own. The fact that the Hollow Knight is honestly their you know, their child to some degree. It's the void plus, you know, the worm and root that created this, at least according to White Lady, and according to, you can imply from Hornet that the Pale King is our father, because she doesn't have the void part. So we're made from all three of those things. So the Hollow Knight is, you know, the royal couple's child, but did anybody know that? it's unlikely that a whole lot of people knew it. Ogrim knew that the king used cruel means in order to seal off the infection, so he was in on the plan. You could get the idea that probably Drya was as well, because she, then went to go and serve the White Lady in Queen's Gardens, and protect her sealed away place. Were all the great knights in on it? We don't know. But not many people knew about that. So was this like a secret place where maybe the Hollow Knight grew up and was brought? Did the Hollow Knight start out small like the rest of the vessels? I mean, that's what I was thinking when I found this my first playthrough. I noticed the cracked floor and came in here. So, interesting thoughts to have once again. And interesting because, like I said, your shade plays that music when you come back for it. Okay. Up we go. Just a whole lot of these, but they're all dead. It gives you the feeling that, like, this place has been here quite some time in this dream. And remember what Lem said, that, it appeared that... I think it was Lem that said this, yeah. It was either Lem or Cornifer, but I think it was Lem. Said that, one day the king just disappeared, and so did the palace, but there was no sign of a struggle around the palace. There was just nothing left. So, did the king somehow seal away this palace that was his, earthly palace in Hallownest inside of a dream? Or did he destroy it somehow and then, himself, and then create a dream version of it? It's kind of funny to think that perhaps this is what the White Palace was like, just that there's all these buzzsaws in it. Or I personally subscribe more to a headcanon that he did take his palace into a dream world, maybe to avoid the consequences of his actions. But then, made the place a lot more difficult to get through. But why? Why do that? Besides the fact that it's a video game and we need to have a platforming challenge. Well, guys, here we are at the top of the White Palace. Behind several guards who are dead, behind all these buzzsaw traps. After going through all of, the retreat that was Queen's Gardens with all of its treachery, we actually ran into the Queen herself. Are we going to run into the king now? And if so, what should we do to him? Got our lantern out, it's so dark. Kind of the opposite of the bright and shining pale king that he projected himself to be. And there he is, you guys. The Pale King. Not a boss battle. Were you expecting a boss battle? Not a boss battle. Just a corpse on a throne. Dad, I'm pissed, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Get wrecked. Just knock him right off that. I should have dream nailed him first. I think that his dream nail dialogue is no cost too great. But we got this, but before we touch that, sit. And now there's a picture. Us with the king's brand, now sitting on the throne. Hallownest will recognize a new monarch. And we have the theme of the game, which is the Knight's theme, that is echoed when you fight the Hollow Knight, that is echoed when you fight, the Broken Vessel, Lost Kin, but being played on the harp, which was the Pale King's instrument, as you could tell from the theme song of the White Palace. My city now. We have collected the King's Soul. That's the other half of the charm that the White Lady gave us. Soul of worm, soul of root, heart of void. Which is what I had said earlier. You can get back in there if you, dream nail this body again, but there's no reason to. And there you have it. The Pale King just one day decided, I don't really want to be here anymore, because his anti-infection plan failed. Did he know it was going to fail? Like, when exactly did, the king abscond? That's another thing that we really just don't know. I'm gonna actually put the child on. We're gonna do one more thing, for the end of this video. We're actually gonna go see Mom. But did the Pale King know his plan was in some way doomed to fail? When did he abscond into his dream world? Shortly after placing the seal on the infection? Or was it with the second resurgence of the plague did he do this? I'm guessing more likely the former than the latter, because he did so long enough ago that people like Lem don't know about it, who came later. Hallownest had only recently started to wake up again and be... I was almost going to treat those like those were the wing molds and that I could, like, jump through them. No, these are ones that we kill. So probably the Pale King disappeared a lot longer ago. Because, as Quirrell had said the very first time that we met him, he remarked, what a time for me to show up. This dead kingdom is, like, started to wake up. Hold on, I need my map. Yeah, no, I'm going the right way. So, basically the Pale King did what he did, and then just left. Probably not too long after that. Maybe he had some inkling that it was going to fail for some reason. We don't know why. Well, we don't know why he would have that idea. The Queen gave us the Queen gave us a little bit of a hint. Remember, she said that we were a better vessel than the Hollow Knight because the Hollow Knight was tainted by an idea instilled. We never really found out what that idea was. But, okay, I'll just come out and say it. If you go and you watch the video that I, will link to in the description here of Path of Pain, you'll get a little bit of an idea of what that idea instilled might have been. Again, I'm not going to talk about it in future videos as though I did it myself, but I do recommend that you go and look at that if you want to have a little bit of an idea about what White Lady might have been talking about. But, so, tainted by an idea instilled. Was the king aware of that? Knew that his vessel was actually not as good as it could have been? And is that why he ran away? The White Lady doesn't talk about, the Pale King being gone. She just sealed her own self away somewhere, but, she's not talking about it. But, what does she know about what her husband did? What was their relationship like, to be honest? Okay, we're going to see Mom, and we brought the child for a reason. She's going to say some stuff, I hope, about the child, but I think she's also going to say something about the fact that we now have both halves of the king soul. So I wanted, you to get to see that. Hey, Mom. I saw Dad. He's dead. Your companion's eyes burn with a familiar flame. Success, then, for the Scarlet Heart, and irony to use my spawn to grow its own. I know you, creature, and the form time shall bring. You may be all in one, clan and master, but this land shall never bear so foreign a king. She just, insults the child to their face, just like, I know what you're going to be. So she provides you with another confirmation of she knows what the Nightmare Heart cycle is, and, knows that the child is now the new vessel for the Nightmare Heart and the Nightmare King. But sort of implying that she thinks that maybe, this version of Grimm will try to take over the place. Grimchild, you can do better than Hallownest. Ah, so it bears our once fractured soul, now complete. Such strength, such resolve, such dedication. Is it more than simply a vessel? I almost feel like I'm once again in the presence of my beloved worm. The King's soul. What is at the heart of it, I wonder? If its curiosity wills it, it should seek out that place where it was born, where it died, where it began. It, in this case, referring to the knight. She uses it pronouns for the Hollow Knight, or I should say for the knight. Okay, so that's all that she has to say now. But she's telling us to go seek out a place. When we get back to the bench, in just a moment, I will read you the description of the King's Soul and end the video. But she, I said, I wonder what their relationship was like. She does say, my beloved worm. So maybe, their relationship was a positive one. Perhaps, those two both being, powerful creatures, could relate to each other. Maybe there was love there. That's good to know. So, at least the Pale King was perhaps capable of feeling love for her. Whoops. After the Pale King's buzzsaw fuckhouse, this should not be difficult, and yet. So, and then she says, what is at the heart of the King's soul? She's not sure. So perhaps he, made it and gave her half of it. Maybe that was a parting gift for all we know. She knows that he's gone. And, that was... He split it in half for a reason. Maybe to lock, quote, that place. So, lots of stuff going on today in this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it, despite the fact that I am bad at video games and it took a while to get through some certain areas of the White Palace. But my hope with, talking about all the various issues that we, went over was to make it a little bit more interesting while I was taking a really long time to get through the White Palace. So hopefully that was good and not annoying. I do try my best to entertain you guys. Okay, so the King's Soul. It's worth 5 whole charm notches. This is the biggest charm in the entire game. But it says, holy charm symbolizing a union between higher beings. The bearer will slowly absorb the limitless soul contained within. And it also says, opens the way to a birthplace. So, talking about the first part first, slowly absorb the limitless soul. Basically, if you wear this charm, you will not have to gather soul in other ways. It will just constantly give you a flow of soul. Which is nice, but, not terribly useful if you're, doing things like a boss battle where you should be striking the enemy. But the more interesting part is, opens the way to a birthplace. And that was just what White Lady, said. That the knight should go back to where it was born, where it died, where it was reborn and began. So, that is the end of this video. We will be solving that cryptic comment in the next one, where, we'll find out some very important information. So, I guess there's really nothing more to say, but until next time, have a good day, everybody.